The Magical Cow and the Poor Boy. In a small American town called Green Valley, 13-year-old Leo lived with his sick mother in a tiny old house. They were poor, but Leo never complained. Every morning, he delivered newspapers, and after school, he washed dishes at a local diner. One cold evening, his mother quietly told him, "Leo, we're almost out of food, and I need my medicine." Leo smiled and said, "Don't worry, Mom. I'll find a way." The next morning, Leo walked beyond the edge of town looking for work. He reached an abandoned farm that everyone in Green Valley avoided. As he passed the old red barn, he heard a strange sound. Moo. Leo stopped. He slowly opened the barn door and saw a beautiful white cow standing in the darkness. A small golden mark was glowing on her forehead. Leo whispered, "Where did you come from?" The cow looked directly at him and suddenly said, "I've been waiting for you." Leo jumped backward. "You can talk." The cow smiled. "Yes. My name is Bella, and I'm a magical cow." Leo thought he was dreaming until Bella touched a dry piece of wood with her hoof. A golden light flashed, and the wood turned into a beautiful bouquet of roses. Leo stared at her in disbelief. Bella then explained that her magic could create food, heal the land, and multiply ordinary things, but there was one rule: her magic could never be used for greed. Leo immediately thought about his mother. "Can you help me get her medicine?" he asked. Bella smiled. "That is why I chose you." Leo secretly brought Bella home and built a small shelter for her behind the house. When his mother saw the cow, she was shocked. "Where did you get her?" she asked. Leo smiled. "She's my new business partner." His mother laughed. The next morning, Bella gave Leo magical milk. Leo turned it into butter and cream and sold them at the local market. Everyone loved the taste. Within a few days, Leo was making enough money to buy medicine, groceries, and even repair the leaking roof. But Leo never became selfish. He gave food to an elderly neighbor, helped a family whose house had burned down, and gave free milk to children who couldn't afford it. Soon, his little business became famous throughout Green Valley. But the town's richest businessman, Richard Harding, became jealous. Harding owned the largest dairy company in the county, and he couldn't understand how a poor teenager could suddenly sell such incredible products. One afternoon, he called Leo into his office and offered him $100,000 for Bella. Leo was stunned. That money could completely change his life. He could buy a beautiful house and pay all of his mother's medical bills. But Leo shook his head. "I'm sorry. Bella isn't for sale." Harding frowned. "Everything has a price, kid." Leo replied, "Maybe money can buy things, but it can't buy friendship." Harding left angrily. That night, he sent 2 men to steal Bella. But when they entered the barn, Bella's golden mark began to glow. Magical vines suddenly burst from the ground and wrapped around their legs. Leo called the sheriff, and the men were arrested. Harding became furious. Now he knew Bella wasn't an ordinary cow, and he wanted her more than ever. A few weeks later, a terrible storm hit Green Valley. Rain poured down for hours, the river overflowed, and several roads disappeared under the water. Families became trapped inside their homes. Leo was helping people when he heard a child crying near a flooded road. A little boy was trapped inside a car surrounded by rushing water. Leo tried to reach him, but the current was too strong. Suddenly, Bella appeared. Her golden mark began shining brightly. She struck the ground with her hoof, and huge trees grew across the flooded road, forming a natural bridge. Leo ran across the bridge and rescued the boy. But then he heard another cry. It was Richard Harding. He was trapped on the roof of his warehouse. People shouted, "Leave him. He tried to destroy your business." Leo looked at Harding for a moment. He remembered all the trouble Harding had caused. Then he said, "I won't become a bad person just because someone treated me badly." Leo ran into the flood and saved Harding. Afterward, Harding looked at him with tears in his eyes. "Why did you save me?" he asked. Leo answered, "Because everyone deserves a chance to do better." But the storm had destroyed much of Green Valley. Farms were ruined, houses were damaged, and hundreds of families had lost their food. Leo turned to Bella and asked, "Can your magic save the town?" Bella nodded. "Yes, but you must make a choice." She told Leo that he could use her magic to become incredibly rich, or he could use it to rebuild Green Valley. If he chose the town, her magic would almost completely disappear. Leo didn't hesitate. Save the town. Bella's golden mark suddenly became brighter than ever. She struck the ground, and something unbelievable happened. The destroyed fields began turning green. Fresh vegetables appeared from the soil. Fruit trees grew. Empty wells filled with clean water. Food appeared in the damaged stores. Building materials appeared beside broken homes. People came outside and stared in amazement. Some cried. Some hugged each other. Green Valley was coming back to life. Even Richard Harding changed. He realized that Leo had something money could never buy. Harding opened his warehouses and donated food and supplies to families who had lost everything. He apologized publicly to Leo and promised to use his wealth to help rebuild the town. Together, Leo and Harding created a community farm where struggling families could receive free food. Leo's mother finally received proper medical treatment and became healthy again. Life became better than Leo had ever imagined. But one morning, Leo walked into Bella's barn and discovered that she was gone. He searched everywhere, calling her name, but there was no answer. On the floor lay a single golden flower and a small note. Leo picked it up and read, "The greatest magic is not what I can give you. It is what you give to others." Leo cried because he knew Bella had left to continue her journey. Years passed, and Leo became a successful businessman, but he never forgot Bella. He used his money to help poor families, build homes, support children, and provide free food. He could have become one of the richest men in America, but he never cared about that. He remembered the boy he had once been, the boy who had almost nothing but still wanted to help others. Many years later, Leo was an old man sitting on his porch when a little girl from the neighborhood approached him. "Mr. Leo," she asked, "is it true that you once had a magical cow?" Leo smiled. "Yes." The girl's eyes widened. "Where is she now?" Leo looked toward the green fields. "I don't know. Maybe she's waiting for someone who needs her." The girl asked, "Will she come back?" Leo smiled. "Maybe. But you should remember something. Magic doesn't always look like a talking cow." The girl looked confused. Leo continued, "Sometimes magic is a stranger giving food to someone who's hungry. Sometimes it's a person helping someone who can't repay them. Sometimes it's forgiving someone who hurt you." Just then, a soft moo came from the distant field. Leo slowly turned around. At the edge of the trees stood a beautiful white cow. A tiny golden mark was glowing on her forehead. Leo smiled. The girl ran toward the field, but the cow disappeared behind the trees. When they reached the spot, they found only a small golden flower lying in the grass. The girl picked it up and asked, "What does this mean?" Leo smiled and said, "It means Bella's magic is still alive." From that day forward, the girl began helping people in the town. Years later, she became a teacher and taught her students the same lesson. The story of Bella and Leo spread from one generation to another. And whenever someone chose kindness over greed, people in Green Valley would say, "Bella must be nearby." Because the people of Green Valley finally understood the truth, the greatest magic in the world isn't money, gold, or supernatural power. The greatest magic is kindness, and when one person passes it to another, it never disappears.